Hello, and thank you for joining with me. My name is Christy Gagner, and I am the founder and director of Adrian School of Massage in Adrian, Michigan. And I am honored to get to connect with you today about a couple words that are important to me and that maybe aren't important to everybody else, um, but I think have an impact on our world in maybe a bigger way than we might realize. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about and kind of how this is important for everybody as well. Um, so a quote by Rumi, raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. Sometimes if we get our panties in a bunch about something, we're we're not going to make the change that we need to see happen. And instead, sometimes it takes gentle, consistent, kind of caring intention that can make change happen. And that's kind of where we've been through this course is learning about speaking with intention, about kind of communicating in intentional ways. And I think that really kind of applies to this conversation as well. Um, so anyhow, I want to give a little bit of a history to the my topic. In the massage therapy industry, we have seen kind of some shifts in the words that we use. In the 1800 or excuse me, 1880s, 1900s, the term masseuse and masseur, they were used to describe manual therapists that were working as doctors' assistants and sometimes as independent practitioners. Um, in I think it was like 1916 was the first massage therapist to be licensed. And it was a healthcare license that happened in Ohio. Um, and it was kind of a limited branch of medicine. And that's kind of how we've seen the industry evolving over time. However, during the 1900s, we saw this muddying of the industry, and the muddying really kind of linked massage therapy with prostitution at the time. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about that. And we call them, refer to them as the massage scandals of the 1900s. So during this time, or right before this time really, there was this strong push from the medical community to see more massage therapists um, because they would work alongside of doctors and kind of help with kind of post-operation and pre-op types of situations and then other kind of healing types of situations. And so we saw kind of this like big push from the medical field. And the schools that were around at the time, they capitalized on this. And there was a lot of schools that even kind of popped up to help to meet this demand. And what ended up happening though is a lot of these schools, they really kind of snuck under the radar and ended up pushing a lot of students through. And the students they wouldn't pay when they were going through school. And instead, at the end, the school would really kind of turn them into indebted laborers. Um, and it was from that situation that we really saw some of the big muddying of some of these terms. We had massage parlors, which were really an innocent term at the time. Back then, you know, if you went into someone's living room, you would call it the parlor, and it wasn't looked at the same way that the term is looked at now. But it was around that time that those massage parlors became associated with being a place of prostitution. Also, during this time, there were a lot of snake oil type claims for massage, and that really it didn't help the situation at all. However, there was still a a strong number of individuals that were using massage therapy as that limited branch of medicine in a professional manner without any sexualization or anything that we would associate with prostitution. So anyhow, by the 1960s, we begin to see a strong pulling away from the terms masseuse, masseur, and parlor in association with massage therapy by massage professionals. And then today, the term masseuse is more likely to be seen in situations of human trafficking and prostitution. And that's really where I think this applies to us in big ways. Because I would like to assume that most decent human beings really want to try to find ways to minimize human trafficking and to kind of mitigate the kind of avenues that maybe are used for that. And that's where the way that we communicate really can make a big difference. Jokes, insinuations, and misunderstandings have allowed for a continuation of support of really human trafficking and this devaluation of an evidence-informed limited branch of medicine. And so that's really where I stand with our need to change our words. Um, and the way that I would suggest to change words, and that the way that kind of really has been suggested to change words for, oh, is it 80 years now? For a very long time, 60 years. Is by saying massage therapist, not masseuse. If you are introduced to maybe another professional, or maybe you have a friend who's a massage therapist, and you're going to, tell another friend, hey, go and see um, Joshua because he's a great massage therapist. That would be a better thing to say than he's a great masseuse. Just because that term masseuse, it really got muddied during that time. And by changing our words, it really kind of changes the way that we think. Um, and then another kind of ploy or request is to use the terms massage clinic, establishment, or business, and not parlor. Because again, parlor, that term really kind of became muddied and associated with prostitution. And again, we want to lift our voice. Going back to that quote from Rumi, raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. Um, the information for this conversation came from sources from the Massage Therapy Journal. I got my quote online. Um, oh, um, from Massage Magazine, which is a publication of, I believe, ABMP, from Mosby's Fundamentals of Therapeutic Massage by Sandy Fritz, and a scholarly article, Physiotherapy in the Shadow of Prostitution, the Society of Trained Masseurs, or of Trade Masseuses and the Massage Scandals of 1894. Anyhow, thank you for sticking with me, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. Have a great day.